Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Encourager with just a quick study with you today. I'm in the book of Daniel, and I'm actually going to go through the book of Daniel. And today I just got just a few words for you today for you to consider on. I do encourage you to pick up the Bible, jump to the book of Daniel, or start from Genesis and work your way up. Today I think I'm just going to concentrate on Daniel chapter 1, 2, and 3, just to give a bit of an insight of, again, I'm not interpreting scriptures. I'm just giving you my insight on it, and hopefully the words that the Lord encourages me to use on here will be edifying to you, and it will encourage you to jump on in and study with me. So we're here in Daniel chapter 1, and I'm going to just read. I'm not reading the entire chapter. I'm just going to read maybe 2 verses here and there. So in verse 2, and the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessel of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain, pay special attention, certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Now, I'm focusing on Daniel and 3 of his brethren, which would be Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay? I find that this chapter is a perfect example of being taken out of your homeland, your culture, but you stand firm and you refuse to be swayed from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We go through many things in life, and not just us as in people in general. A lot of us are pulled up from our homelands, and our culture is taken away, and in some cases your culture is completely wiped out, and wherever they've put you, you're in captivity. Let's just use that word because that's literally what it is. Because if you're ripped out of your homeland and your culture is taken away from you, you're being held captive. And what the other country or your captor is doing is trying to indoctrinate you into their own culture and their homeland. And that also goes with trying to get you to worship their gods, as in lowercase gods. But in this case, there was Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they're all Israelites. And so they were taken out of their homeland, and they were brought into Babylon. And so this short message is just to let you know that you can live in Babylon, but not be of Babylon. Remember your Creator, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the God of the universe. Yes, in Babylon, a lot of gods are presented, and sometimes you're not even aware that they are gods. And in the process, in you being immersed into Babylon, you will pick up, if you're not careful, if you're not aware, if you're not really looking through the eyes of the Spirit of the living God, you will pull these little gods, which are idols, within your world, as in within your environment. So yes, they can take you out of your homeland. They can even take your culture away or wipe it away, which they have done with the Israelites. But you can survive in Babylon, bearing in mind that you do not forget who your God is. The great I am, the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, he that was, is, and is to come. And you are not choosing to go and worship idols. So that's in Daniel chapter 1. So they were, like, these young boys were brought in, and the king appointed them daily provision. The king wanted them to eat from the king's table, their meat, their steak, take on their customs and stuff like that. Well, even from the get-go, Daniel, they chose that they would not eat from the king's table, the choice meats, as in your filet mignon, your steak. And these are representative of lifestyles, right? And they chose the alternate. They chose veggies, right? And in the end, when they analyzed the boys, the 4 Israelite boys, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they also had other boys too, which ate from the king's table. The Israelite boys, they came out on top. There were no one as skillful in wisdom and in knowledge and understanding of things as they were, even though all they ate were just herbs and veggies. So you have to make a conscious choice when you're in Babylon, who you will serve. You must make a conscious choice. And I do believe, of course, it may not be physical Babylon, but a lot of you that are listening can resonate to say, we are in Babylon. Let's call this spiritual Babylon. There's that physical Babylon, which I'm not touching on today. Yet, you can flourish. You can live well, notwithstanding that your captor will choose to take you out of your homeland and remove your culture and introduce their gods to you, lowercase g here. But as a believer in Christ, it is important that you are not swayed. It is important that you know in whom you have believed, and you will not allow your faith to be swayed, thereby picking up idols. There are so many idols that you're not even aware of. So I encourage you, jump into the book of Daniel, even if it's just chapter 1, and explore, investigate, and look at how these boys were, even though they were thrown into Babylon. And we are in Babylon, but you have a choice when it comes to whom you will serve. I trust you're encouraged today. This is The Encourager.